Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am here for my regular Wednesday morning live. I am streaming this on both Facebook and YouTube, so I hope you can join me. And as you do sign on, if you want to say hi, I'd love to see who's here watching live, or if you're watching the replay, just send me a little hashtag replay and let me know that you're watching. So today I am featuring the Ringed with Nature bundle. It is a gorgeous bundle. I have been playing with it so much. I've created with it for my own team meeting, and I've also created a separate card class just for you guys. Oh, good morning. So there is a link to register for my card class using this bundle in the description of this video. And then you can also find it on my website, or just reach out to me if you want more information. But I want to show you guys how amazing this bundle is. I do have some non-Christmassy cards to post later this week, but today I'm actually going to be making a Christmas card I need to get started on designing. Oh, hello. Okay, so I am going to switch over. I feel like I haven't done this in a while, but I know it was recent. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop and show you guys what the bundle is. So it's a little bit different from our normal bundles. You get a stamp set, and you get a set of dies, which is awesome. They're really, really cool dies. They actually don't coordinate with this. They kind of complement this. So any bits on here that you want to use, you'd actually have to fussy cut. And then these are kind of complementary ones, but what they do is they coordinate with the hybrid embossing folder and dies. So you can use this as an embossing folder and emboss this awesome wood grain. Hi, Gail. So you can use the embossing folder, emboss this really cool, like these wood rounds, or you can actually put your paper in and put the die right into the embossing folder, and you can emboss and die cut all in one roll through the machine. So I'm actually going to show you guys how that works today, and then these pieces coordinate to create the inside rounds. So that's what I'm going to show you today. And then we have kind of a really fun, a little fun fold happening. So we're going to get started with the actual fun fold part, and then I'll play with that Ringed with Nature. So I'm starting with a piece of thick basic white cardstock, and I've cut it at 4 1/4 by 11 and scored it at 5 1/2. So this is just half a sheet of paper basically, but we're doing it kind of the tall, long fold. Then I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. Now, if you've ever crafted in person with me, you know I don't actually use my trimmer a ton. I do have an old guillotine that I prefer. But for something like this, we are going to need a paper trimmer. So I'm putting this into the 1 inch mark, and I'm just going up to my score line. And then I'm going to drag down from my score line at the 1 inch section. So now we have that little bit there. Now I could use my paper trimmer for this next section, or my snips, and I actually prefer my snips just because then I can get to the exact spot that I want to be at. And I am going to use these to come in here and trim right up to that 1 inch mark, and let that piece fall off. So we can just save that for another day, another project. It's always nice to have strips of white to stamp on. And now we have a card front that is missing a section. Okay, so that was what we were actually trying to achieve, is to have that kind of open section so we have a little peek inside our card. Now, we don't want to have a boring inside of our card though, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a piece. This is our Sale-a-bration paper. This is the silver and gold striped and dotted designer series paper. I've taken a piece of the gold dotted paper, and I am going to cut a 1 inch strip of this. So here we go. No. Oh, I popped it out of its track. How did I do that? There we go. So we're going to cut a 1-inch strip of this. And there we go. And then I'm going to trim this down to 5.5. So let's see here. That's going to be 5.5. All right. So we've made that 1 by 5.5. And so you'll see that that actually fits perfectly onto the inside of our card so that it's visible when our card is closed. But to leave this white would be really kind of boring. So I'm going to color it with Evening Evergreen blends. I'm going to start with my, actually I'm going to start with my dark one. Start with my dark Evening Evergreen, and I'm just going to kind of do stripes across this. And I'm going to color about halfway. There we go. And then I'm going to come back and color a bit more up at the top. There we go. All right, so that was our dark one. I've really saturated that paper. And just to do a little bit more of a blend there. All right, now I'm going to come in with my light Evening Evergreen. And I'm going to start right on top of that and then work my way down. And so I'm just kind of doing quick stripes across the card. Oops. There we go. And a little bit more there. All right, so you can blend this however you'd like, make it as dark or as light as you'd want, but it does kind of transition from very dark to quite a bit lighter. You could also do this using 2 colors, like use Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent, but I just wanted to stick with the one color for today. So now that that's done, we're going to actually glue that into the side of our card that we cut open. All right, so I'm just using liquid glue because I like to be able to kind of wiggle it into place. And so let's see if I can do this. Here we go. Now I am putting the light side at the top. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll glue that right down. So now we have kind of a nice decorated inside to our card. And we can start working on the front of our card. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to do a little bit of embossing. So I'm actually today using both of the embossing folders, 3D embossing folders, in the Wintry 3D embossing folder pack. So one of these has like evergreen background, and one of them has like a snowflake background. And so I'm actually going to use both of these. I'm going to use the evergreen one on the front of our card. Okay, so this piece that I was left with is 3 1/4, which is the perfect size to fit inside our Wintry 3D embossing folders. And so with that piece done, I am going to have to use my big machine because the rest of the card is wide. So I'm just going to bring this beast in to view here. And when I do that, I'm just using my base plate number 1, my sandwich that I created, and then our specialty plate. Okay, it's a little bit tight on my desk to use this machine here, but we'll manage. It's just because we're doing that wider piece, we really need the bigger machine. And then as long as I have the bigger machine here, I'm not going to bother putting it away. I'm going to grab a small piece of soft succulent. This is 1 inch by 3.5 inches. And I'm just going to pop it here into my embossing folder, the snowflakey one from the Wintry set, and I'm going to roll that through. So I love those double sets because those embossing folders are small enough that they do fit in the mini. just because of what I was embossing, I couldn't do that, but they do fit in the mini, which is nice. And you get 2 different designs, which is awesome. Okay, so that's done with those wintry 3D embossing folders. Now we'll bring this card base back in. So now you can see we've got the front embossed with that beautiful evergreen to go with the evening evergreen and gold designer series paper that we have. So we're starting to get a really beautiful front to our card. Now I've got a 1/2 inch by 5.5 inch strip of evening evergreen cardstock. And you can use any adhesive you like, but I really don't like to make a mess when I'm doing kind of fine details like this. So I'm going to use some tear and tape. And I'm going to put a strip of tear and tape from top to bottom, but right pressed up against one of the edges. Okay, so the reason for that is because we're going to tuck this in behind and just create a little itty bitty border here. So I am going to peel that back. So now our adhesive is exposed. I'm going to tuck that right up to the top. And there we go. Now, it ended up being a little bit longer than what I needed because, of course, we can't get right up into that fold, although I got up as high as I could into that fold. Okay. And then I'm going to use my snips just to trim off that excess at the bottom. There we go. All right, so now we have this cool little stripe kind of delineating between the gold and the front. Isn't it a cool fold? We learned this one at my team meeting on Sunday. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I actually have a big group that I stamp with. I have my own group and a larger group of demos that I meet with. So we've got like one small group and one big group that we meet with, and we stamp, we make cards every month, and just do some mystery stamping and have a lot of fun. And then, you know, also get caught up and share ideas around all the promotions that Stampin' Up! Has going on, which this month are quite a few. I'm actually going to be sending out an email later today, just letting people know everything that's going on for the month of August. So if you're not already on my newsletter, just send me a message saying you want to join, or find the sign up for my newsletter button on Facebook or on my blog and join that before this afternoon. All right, so I just used a retired punch, my tailored tag punch, to flag that, but you can use scissors or whatever you'd like to flag this piece. And now I want it to just stick off the edge just a little bit. So I'm actually going to flip it over and leave it where it is, like how I want it positioned. And I'm going to use some Seal Plus here. So I'm just pulling out all the adhesives today, but I'm making sure not to pass that that line, because I don't want anything here to stick to this background. I want all the bits to be stuck on that front fold. All right, so we've got that stuck on there. Now we're going to start to create some stuff to go on the front. So I'm going to actually do a little bit more embossing before I start with the actual stuff. So I've got just like a scrap of paper here, and I'm going to grab one of the dies from our set here. And I believe it's about that size that I want. I think that, yeah, there we go. That's going to be good. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to cut this out. So actually I can use the mini for that. Keep it simple for right now while we can. We're going to have to use the big machine one more time because we're going to use this awesome big die. All right, so run that through. So now you can run this through and get like all the embossing details on this little piece, but I want to stamp on it, so I wanted it to not be all embossed. All right, so we've got that done. I'll put that off to the side. Actually, that's still a good piece to use for something. All right. So with that done, I am going to now show you guys how to use this hybrid embossing folder. Now, you don't have to use the full thing. You could just cut the size of paper you need for the piece that you want, but I kind of figure, well, why bother doing that when I could just have pre-cut pieces lying around for other creations? So we're going to use the big machine. And we are going to use the base plate number 1. And then I've got this whole folder here. I am going to put a piece of paper in it that covers up the whole thing. So this is cut at 4.5 by 6, actually. So not even a normal card front size. And then I'm going to line this up so that it's around the embossing, and so like almost like it sits in place. I can't wiggle it side to side now. Okay, and I'm going to close this up with my paper inside so everything's all sandwiched together. Pop that down and then grab that specialty plate and we'll roll this through. Now, I actually like to roll this through twice, so I go almost all the way to the end, and then I'm going to go back again. Just to make sure it fully, oh, there we go. Just to make sure it fully cut through, because it's kind of a tricky one to line up a second time if you pull it open and it didn't fully line up. Okay, so there we go. And now you can see, oh, I didn't go far enough on that one, darn it. I was trying to stop it to be able to roll it back. And that's okay. That's a quick, easy cut. There we go. All right. So now you can see I have a whole bunch of tree rounds that are also all embossed. Isn't that awesome? One pass through and we have these beautiful tree rounds. So I keep a little baggie inside my stamp set where I keep the extras so that when I'm creating, sometimes I don't have to do the die cutting and embossing. I can just grab a pre-made piece. So let's see, move this out of the way. There we go. So now I believe this piece, there we go. So that one fits into that tree round. So that's the one that we're going to use. I think it's like kind of the medium-sized one. So you end up with really with 5 different sizes. And so super handy. So I'll just show you here on the inside of my stamp set. I've taken a medium clear envelope and I just keep my extra pieces tucked in there so I can always just quickly grab a tree round. This is my favorite size of them though, so I do find I use these ones up faster. All right, now I'm going to grab my Merry Christmas sentiment from this stamp set. So it's obviously too long to put onto our little round, which is fine. I'm going to grab our Evening Evergreen ink and I'm going to ink up just the word Christmas, which is actually pretty easy to do. The words are nicely spaced apart. So I'm just putting this down so that only the word Christmas is getting ink on it. And then I'm going to place the word Christmas down near the bottom, but making sure that it's still fitting fully right across my, my piece. Now I'm going to grab my chamois and clean this up. I know it doesn't look like it's going to clean very well with such a dirty chamois, but trust me, it's removing the ink. All right, and then I just want to like dry it and make sure that it's truly clean. It is, so it's not leaving any impressions, because now we're going to go in and do the same thing, but we're inking just the word Merry this time. Okay, and I love these because they're clear. I can see exactly where that ink is going, and I can see that I'm only getting the one word. All right, now this one I'm going to stamp kind of off to the left. I'm purposefully leaving kind of an open space here on this wood round because I'm going to layer on a little flower in a moment. Okay, so that was Evening Evergreen ink. Now with that done, I can just actually go ahead and line this up and glue this layer right down. And I'm just going to use liquid glue for that, or you can use Seal, whatever you'd like. Oh, sorry. Actually, before I do that, it wouldn't have ruined the card, but I want to add a little bit of interest to the edge of this round. So I'm going to grab my soft suede ink and a sponge dauber. You could also use a blending brush for this. And I am just very gently tapping around the edges with my soft suede. There we go. Just to create that darker look of bark around the edges. Okay, now we'll glue our sentiment down. Okay, so there we go. And we've got that little piece all created now. So a little bit of, lots of different colors going on there. Okay, so with that done, we can add this to our card front. Make sure, where did I put my card front? I was going to say make sure we don't lose it, but I've actually lost the whole card front. There we go. So this one is just going to get popped down kind of like centered on this front piece. And I am going to use dimensionals to attach it. There we go. All right. So, and I want my Merry Christmas to be kind of on a little angle. There. So that's attached to our card front now using dimensionals. Now I want to add a little poinsettia to this. So we have the beautiful poinsettia in our stamp set here. And I'm going to ink it up with Sweet Sorbet. So kind of really diving into our in colors from the ones that will retire this year and the new ones from this year. And so I'm just going to stamp that right onto a scrap piece of paper. Now, like I was saying before, our dies for this set coordinate. They don't match. So I am going to have to fussy cut this little guy. He's not too bad to fussy cut, though. All right. So I do love the stamp set. Actually, while I'm fussy cutting, I'm just going to bring the stamp set back so you guys can see. I do love this stamp set because although obviously today I'm creating a Christmas card and there are the kind of Christmassy elements like with Merry Christmas and the poinsettia, there's also the cutest little mushrooms where you can flip them upside down and make little acorns. There's the beautiful flowers that can be stamped in any color. The little house for, makes a great housewarming card or an anniversary card. And then all the wonderful sentiments that are not at all Christmassy. Thinking of you, get well soon, happy anniversary, just for you. So it's a really, really nice set. And so the card class that I've created, it's actually a card class to go, just with the end of summer and back to school. I just know my time is going to be limited to actually, have a nice class in person with people. But I really have loved this set so much that I wanted to share the ideas with you. So I've got a little card class to go all done up, PDF tutorial and 4 amazing cards. And only one of them is a Christmas card. And it's just such a cute set. I've made a ton of housewarming cards. And if you're a realtor or anything, that'd be great to have like the little just for you and give a little gift to your clients or whatever, congratulate them on their new home. So yeah, I love this set. All right, so there's my poinsettia all cut out. Now I'm going to attach this onto my card here, but I want to make sure that my sticky stuff's not going onto the background. So I'm going to actually put my dimensional onto my card front on the side where I want the sticky. And then I'll remove that and I will lay my poinsettia over top of that so that for sure no sticky ends up onto the part I don't want it on. All right, so we're getting close to finished. We have some embellishing to do on this card now. So first thing I'm going to add to it are some, what are they called? Red and green adhesive back pearls. Now, it's kind of a deceiving name because you do get red and you do get green. Oops. But you also get silver and gold. And as you can see, the golds are actually my favorites. Maybe it's because I need 3 every time I make this, but I'm going to put 3 gold pearls into the center of this poinsettia. And there we go. So that is there to decorate the center of that poinsettia. And then, I don't know, I'm like a little bit addicted to ribbons. I love adding those to my cards. I know lots of you hate that, hate tying the bow at least. But I'm going to grab this soft succulent open weave ribbon. And that's why I said here you could use soft succulent and evening evergreen as well if you wanted more of a contrast. The soft succulent just pairs up so nicely with it. Here we go. Come on. All right. So we've got that tied. And now that I've got it tied, I'm just going to cut it off of my reel. There we go. And I'm going to attach that to my card front using a mini glue dot. And so I just like to take the roll. I don't even bother lifting this. I just push, oh, come on. I just push my ribbon, the knot of my ribbon, right onto the mini glue dot and then lift. And then I'm going to stick that down. I want to make sure it's not covering up my words when I stick it down. There we go. And that is the finished card. So it's kind of a neat one because when you open it up, we still have some pretty stuff on the inside, but we have an area to write that's kind of all hidden. And then when our card's on display, we've got the really cool look. Yeah, so it's a fun, very elegant, like all the colors and the slight shimmer to everything does make it quite elegant. That I find anytime you add gold to something, it really jazzes it up. Oh, thanks for watching, Norma. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that and do check it out. We also have a new kit, you guys. It's called Cozy and Bright. It's a Christmas kit, $32 for 12 cards. And they are gorgeous. It's all oranges and cinnamons and everything. And it's going to go fast. So definitely grab it. Oh, thanks for watching, Kathy. We'll see you a little bit later today. I'm glad you love it. So yeah, definitely those dies are amazing. I kind of had underestimated like the hybrid die and what it could do. And we do have one other bundle that has the hybrid dies. It's the Merriest Moments set. Has this, and then it has a frame die that's that same kind of hybrid where you can die cut and emboss all at the same time. So it's kind of a neat thing. And so I wanted you guys to see it in action because the catalog doesn't kind of show you what it can do. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. Next week, I'm going to have some recorded content because I am taking some time off to spend with my kids and just really soak up the summer with them. It's probably my last full summer with one of my kids because next year he'll be graduated and doing his own thing. So we're going to take a little bit of time as a family, but I will have some recorded content for you guys on Wednesday, and I'll see you back here in a little while. Oh, thank you so much, Francis. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, just send me some info or, yeah, just send me some info if you want to do the class. Awesome. So yeah, you guys have a great day. I'm off to go do some cooking. I'm pre-cooking for next week so that we can all just relax. So take care, everyone.